living. Oh yeah, yeah. Said you got to have that someone. If I gave you this water.
Pablo, what's the name of it? I don't see. What's in the Calice? What's in the Calice?
Yeah.
Oh, I see that.
Eh?
I see it.
You see it? Just give me a minute. I come in.
Okay, hold on a second. Ford.
Yes, if you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. And if you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. If I gave you protection, would you sleep inside my dome? It's only me and you, baby. We would never be alone. Cause anything you require, I'll assist it on my own. Cause I'm a man of my words, baby. Turn our house into a home. If you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. And if you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. Lord, I ask in my prayer for a woman so unique. Come and give me your love, girl. I never felt it so sweet. I'm never leaving, I'm staying. I just thought I'd let you know. So come and give me your love, girl, cause I'll never let you go. If you decide to tell me yes, yes I know, yes I know that you know I got the rest. And if you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. If you decide to tell me yes, yes I know, yes I know that you know I got the rest. And if you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest.
The coward of the county, it never stood one single time to prove the county wrong. His mama named him Tommy, the folks just called him Yellow. Something always told me they were reading Tommy wrong. He was only 10 years old when his daddy died in prison. I looked after Tommy, cause he was my brother's son. I still recall the final words my brother said to Tommy. Son, my life is over, but yours has just begun. Promise me, son.
Yes, Brother John.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm trying to download this here now.
Okay. Yeah, I have to. One of the reasons why I'm running so late, where I was supposed to be doing the program from this afternoon. I didn't. There were some issues there, and so I had to relocate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to change location, man.
Okay. Let me see if I find this video now. Media source.
And I did send you another picture with some children earlier.
Okay, in the same thing? Okay, I didn't see that yet. I didn't check that.
It didn't come together. It came separately. It's just a picture with the SIE children in a SIE program.
Oh, I didn't see that yet. I'll check and see. Okay, let me download. Okay, World Down Syndrome. Okay, good. I got that. Open up.
As his tears fell on his daddy's face, he heard these words again.
Pause.
Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble when you can. Won't leave me weak if you turn me up the cheeks. I hope you're old enough to understand.
Okay, and the other one, they said it came in pictures. Pablo.
One of them got up and met him halfway across.
The other one is just a photo.
Okay.
Tommy turned.
Open up. Let's see.
Okay. You could have heard a pin drop. Tommy stopped and locked the door. 20 years of crawling, bottled up inside him. He wasn't holding nothing back. He let him have it all. When Tommy left the barroom, not a gap the boy was standing. He said, "This one's for Becky," as he watched the last one fall. And I heard him say, "I promised you fair not to do the things you've done. I walked away when I came. Now please don't think I'm weak. I didn't turn the other cheek. And Papa, I sure hope you understand. Sometimes you gotta fight when you're a man." Everyone consider me.
Why should I get weary? Tell me, why should I? Why should I? No way. Lord, 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 to the Lord is serving. I'm moving on. Yes, I'm moving on.
Okay, I got that one too. Okay, so which one you want to go first?
Right?
Which one you want to go first?
Oh, the
Video?
the video is going to play first.
Okay, let me just check that.
Yeah, soon after my opening remarks and thing, I'm going to play the video. You can entertain calls?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. What's the number? 437-980-7467.
That's it. Yeah. So let me hook up my system here for that.
All right.
Yeah, that's the number. Yeah.
Is that is it the WhatsApp number?
Same WhatsApp number, that's it, yeah.
980-7467?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Trial and crosses in my way. I still gonna find some time to pray. I never get weary. Rasta never get weary. When temptation comes on strong, I've got to face it like a man. I never get weary. No, I never get weary. Cause in this time where pleasure and danger walking side by side, I can't stay still. I gotta keep moving.
Yes, hello everybody. And whenever you hear the song though, that beat on Gem FM on a Saturday afternoon, you know it is time for the MTTG show. Yes, it's the message to the grassroots program coming to you, hosted by Raphael Paul Pablo. And I'm located right here at Sunset City. Brother John, are we live?
Are we live and direct, brother?
We are live and direct, Brother John says. Yes, so as you hear that sound, as you hear the sound of that rhythm, you know it is time for the MTTG show. The message to the grassroots program. Coming to you, as I said, from Sunset City and hosted by your humble servant, Pablo, Raphael Paul. And actually, we are here with you this afternoon, and you know, it's one of those really hot days, Brother John. What kind of weather are you having today?
Well, my weather is cold and rainy. It's wet.
It's wet. You're having a wet day.
A wet day. Yeah, when I come in on Friday night, the one thing I do in the morning is go in the grocery. With my wife, I'm staying inside until Monday morning.
Okay.
As I go to
today,
it's wet today. It's wet and cold.
Today we are having it's a bright and sunny day. So my day is totally different to yours, actually, as it turns out. And you can see I'm wearing my Nawasa cap. I'm a water ambassador.
Really?
Oh my God. Yes, I'm a water ambassador. Are you ready to? Yes, because as you know, we have to be very conservative in many different ways, and we have to learn to secure ourselves. We have to learn not to be wasteful, because as you know very well, with the issues of climate change and all that goes with it, things like you never know what can happen with regard to our water situation. So we have to be conservative in so many different ways. Brother John, I'm streaming live, yeah?
Yes, we are live. We are live.
So can you tell our where can we find the live stream, because we want the people to join us on the live stream.
We're live on gemfm.ca on Facebook, gemfm.ca Facebook. We're live on YouTube as
gemfm.ca.
And yeah.
Okay, gemfm.ca on Facebook.
And then YouTube, John Callis on YouTube. You can't miss it.
Yeah, gemfm.ca on Facebook. Let me just share the live here and share the live here. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, this afternoon I don't have a guest. It's just myself and Brother John today.
Yeah,
it's just myself and Brother John that's here today. So actually, there's a few little areas that I wish to cover. There's no restrictions today, actually. I will be just delving into a few different issues today. And just like telling you, this is the 10th edition actually of this MTTG show since I've returned to this network, the Gem FM network, the Gem FM platform, as I used to be doing the comfort zone right here. And sometimes I was about to say Dr. John Callis,
Yeah, they call me
Well deserving of it, you know. Yeah, I did have to sit in for Brother John.
Yeah.
That is why I started here, actually, being one of the panelists, along with Brother Delbert Baptiste. Yeah. So now this is the 10th edition of the Comfort Zone. And my theme for today is the heart of the matter. We are just going to seek to get to the heart of the matter on various issues. And I want you to know that you can call in. You can call in, and the number to call is 437-980-7467, 7467. Once again, 437-980-7467. And to get us started, there is a short video that I borrowed from one of the local news network, because I just want to highlight a particular issue. And when the video is played, you are going to get a sense of what is the issue that's being addressed. So I expect that Brother John will have that video lined up for you, and you are going to get it right there.
Yes.
And yeah. And when you hear it, you are going to know exactly what this issue is about. Okay.
Okay.
So Brother John, can we have it?
Most definitely. Let me shut down some stuff here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let the video roll. Internal. I don't hear the volume.
Not hearing anything?
No, it's happening on the outside. I don't know why I'm not hearing it on the inside. Hold on.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything here either.
Should be hearing it. I don't know what's happening. But
no, I'm not hearing anything.
Hold on. It's been hot outside. We are not hearing it, but it's happening. It's been hot outside. Today it happened to me this morning. I don't know why it's happening like that.
So let's see what's happening.
Which was sponsored by the
Our audience is hearing it.
Okay, yes, it's playing out there.
And to the OECS Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning. OECS.
Right, John, what's going on?
Just inside here, you're not hearing it.
Okay. Yeah, why aren't we hearing it?
I don't know why. I don't know what went wrong.
Okay. Yeah, but
instead of 2. Hence, the day celebrated on 3/21. On that day, we showed appreciation by wearing mismatched socks and paid attention to the uniqueness and individuality of people with Down syndrome.
Okay.
That's it?
That's it there. Yeah.
That's the end of it?
Yeah, that's the end of it. But the audience heard everything from the beginning to end. So
everything went out.
Yeah,
I just wanted to bring some attention to this issue. You know, I don't know if you have any relative who's Down syndrome, but no. I do. I have a niece who is Down syndrome.
Okay.
And I have a grandniece also who is Down syndrome. You know, and there is a tendency sometimes where not only with people of that of that ilk, you know, but people who face different challenges of one nature or another, and that we treat with them in an abnormal kind of way. You know, we don't treat with them as regular human beings. And they feel and they have emotions, and so like everybody else, you know, and it is not a disease. Down syndrome is not a disease, as they said. It is a condition that people are born with. And so we have to always be, you know, we always have to be considerate of people who are challenged in this way. And I tell you something, Brother John, you find some of these people, they are more organized than some of us normal ones, you know.
Oh yeah,
Serious. Oh yeah. Yeah, some of these people, they are more organized and more, they're more particular about certain things, about how they carry themselves, you know.
You know,
some of us normal people.
Yeah. You know, as you tell me that, you know, right? Somebody sent me stuff this week, but I never really looked.
And we always. You've never what?
You know, you know, you hear about it, but you never really go into it fully, right? As let's say you take it as any other thing, you know, you just let it be, right? But then deep down inside, you hear of persons who have children or see children, you know, day-to-day travels, you know, facing those stuff. And it also says that we all lack awareness, give attention as it should. We don't give the attention in the way and the manner we should. A number of things that happen when a woman estrogen level drops, the likelihood of a child having Bonner-Jones syndrome is greater, right? So I have here, just as you talk about it, I pull up some stuff, information immediately. It says, what causes Down syndrome, right? Question. To date, no behavioral activity of the parent or environmental factor is known to cause Down syndrome. 1 or 2, in majority of cases, the extra copy of chromosome 21 comes from the mother in the egg. In a small percentage, less than 5%, of course, of cases, the extra copy of chromosome 21 comes from the father through the sperm. So again, it's the chromosome that causes that. So if scientists could find out really how to deal with that, how to split that, and to have a better understanding, probably many more people will be able to learn how to deal with that, you know. And I think our awareness should forever be forefront in studying what it is, what to look for, what probably could do to prevent, if there are preventive measures that parents could take, if there is one, you know. But I always say it's important for women to keep the estrogen level up as high as possible to facilitate normal birthing, right? Because I know what they do here a lot of times when a woman is pregnant, especially approaching her late 30s, all right? They ask them to come in for a certain test to ensure that the child will born with Down syndrome, right? So they'll give them, probably increase their estrogen level by through medication, right? They'll give them advice, okay, if that is that low, that's the likelihood of you having a child with born with Down syndrome, all right? So again, they give you option. Do you want to carry the child full term? Is a guest still, right? Because someone, even though they're 39, 40, they could make a child perfectly without having Down syndrome, right?
Oh yeah,
so,
we see it all the time.
Yeah, it's a gamble, right? So you might, if you doubtful and of your own self, right? you might say, you know what? Let me get rid of the child. I don't have no Down syndrome child, right? And the child you might get rid of is a perfectly healthy child that you never see. You know what I mean? So it's never wise to take the advice of a doctor in that case, because he's still guessing. He doesn't know God's plan. He doesn't know. So it's imperative that we seek wise counsel in that case to make sure that we don't make no mistakes and bring our children. Because I have never seen, a Down syndrome child that is not effectively doing his thing. He just probably doesn't think about a certain level. But given time and training, now we have more research and more care and education for them, so they function in their roles as normal as everybody else. They function there. So I think it's important for us to understand where all that is coming from, why is it, and to help.
Yes, and they can be quite talented, and quite resourceful. Yeah, they can be, so we always have to be considerate of, generally speaking, not just about Down syndrome, but other people, as they said, it is not a disease, it is a condition, that comes from birth. And that's one of the reasons why the date has been set for the 21st.
Okay.
Because of the 21 chromosomes or whatever, as they relate to it. But I just thought I should share that bit, and you can see how the young people, the children, and so came out. They had this motorcade, this music on the truck and all of that. So it was really it's an event that we need to continue speaking about, so that people can be more sensitive and be more considerate of these people, when we come into the space, or they come into our space.
I think they say what's the most common cause of Down syndrome, right? They say 95% of the time Down syndrome results from trisomy 21. Another major cause of the abnormal cell division is chromosome 21, extra 21, right? Chromosome. Between chromosome 21 and 14, some cells with extra copy of chromosome 21 are mosaic Down syndrome. He said just the most common cause of Down syndrome, which occurs when a person has have 3 copies of the chromosome 21 in all cells, rather than the typical 2 copies. So when you go to extra 1, that could be a problem right there. So how do you know that? We had to get tested to find out that before, but so you could know that the child will be that. So that I know they do a lot of tests. Because when my wife was pregnant, they did the test, and on Genesis level, and with Abby again, they went there, make sure they do the test to make sure that she's not at risk of having that. So it's something they do now. They do the test to ensure that they give them options. They have them tell them exactly what could happen and what not will happen. So that is
okay. So yes, so I just thought I'd bring some attention to that issue, and probably in time we can delve more into that matter. But you do find them. I know one guy in Grove, man. We call him Pada K. He's the darling of everybody. He's like, hey, I remember that video with him one morning. He come from church, and there's this guy who was sitting, one of his friends, sitting on the side of the road, man, and he lay hand on him, man, and man was praying.
That
video did get some attention on Facebook,
Yeah. You see,
His current name is Lyndon, but we call him Paddy K.
okay. They're intelligent, all of us. There might be a slower learner, a faster learner in many cases, you know. I think we cannot and should not see them less than they are to be. You know, I think there's a space for everybody to learn from everyone. I think I watch one of the young man with his what's his name, the water, pure water. You know,
okay.
And the brother was real organized, you know. He come to work early.
Yes, they are.
You know, and he's always on time. So
yes, Brother John, I tell you, they are. They much more. Some of them, they are much more organized than us, quote unquote, normal people.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
We think we know about. They looking at us as being abnormal. Because you never know what in the mind of man. They're looking at us. What's wrong with these people? Are they crazy? You know what I mean? So I see there's one in the States who have a chain of restaurants. He owns restaurants.
Okay.
Look at it. He owns some restaurants and he's married and have children. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things, they're saying this to say that we can't write off nobody.
No.
We can't write them off. People is people. We have to learn to live together or die as fools. You know? So I think it's important, it's very much important, imperative for us to pay attention and reach out and help and support those people. Because they do need our help. We can't cast them, we can't cast them away. They're part of our society and we have to embrace them. Simple as that.
We're not just part of the society, they are human beings just like us.
Us, yeah. They're in the society. You know?
Human beings just like we are. You know?
Yeah.
And because of the particular challenge, it doesn't make them any less than us.
Exactly.
In any shape or form. As I said, I'll be touching on a number of things. As I said, we get into the heart of the matter.
Talking about the heart of the matter, I see where you're now what's the heart.
Actually, it says I am a water ambassador. Would you join me? Because people are being encouraged to conserve water, to use water wisely. You know, even sometimes a lot of our wastewater can be utilized otherwise to wet our plants, to do other things rather than we just throw it down the drain as it goes. And we have to ensure that we don't pollute our water. I saw somebody posted something recently, and it had to do with a visit to a water collection point somewhere up in the Concord Mountain, and the way that our citizenry were treating with that entire space, you know, that they more or less posed a threat. It's like it was not properly secured from public access,
right?
You know? And it really lent itself to the prospect of our water being contaminated in one way or another. And so these are some of the things that we really do have to take on board. We see sometimes that we have excess water, right? We noticed that coming to the end of 2022, we had rains and rains and rains for an extended period. The thing is, we do not have any collection system in place where we can harvest such water, such quantities of water, so that when we get into the dry season as we are now, we can have this water now to wet our plants and to do other things. You know, right. So these are some of the things that we have to take into consideration. And NAWASA, through funding from GIZ, I think it's a German entity, they have this project that they're doing. So they had a showcase at the recent town hall meeting in Wester Hall.
Yeah, I was hearing about that one.
The Prime Minister and his team, they had a town hall meeting there. So they were there doing a showcase, and that's how I got my cap actually.
Okay.
You just had to have a conversation with them, answer certain questions or whatever, and you got a cap or a t-shirt. They had different paraphernalia. And they are actually going around looking to go to different locations and be able to share with people, to sensitize people and so on, you know, on those matters. And I did speak with Miss Janelle, I don't rightly remember her surname presently, but I did speak with her, and she was inclined to come to St. Mark's. So those of you who's going to be coming to Sunset City for the annual St. Mark Day Festival, it is a week of activities, and there is going to be a host of different events, and we expecting Nawasa to be there doing a showcase at one of those events. So these details will be forthcoming, you know, sometime. But I can share, now that I'm on it, I can share a little bit also about the whole itinerary for the Sunset, not the Sunset, but the St. Mark's Day Festival.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So this is being put together by the St. Mark Organization for Development. Okay. And the theme is promoting peace, togetherness, and unity in 2023. So it starts, so on Saturday, there's usually a hike that takes you to Mount St. Catherine. So on Saturday, April the 22nd, there is going to be a hike that takes you up there. That's from 5 in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you have a beach fest right on that beach out where we call Queen Street is the main street in Victoria. So there'll be a beach fest right on that beach at the back of the fish market. Then on the Sunday is when you have the official opening ceremony. And this is going to be on the hard court. And yeah, that's going to be on the hard court from 7 p.m. in the afternoon. And then on Tuesday, you have the basketball finals. So in the run-up to that, there's going to be a basketball competition taking place between the different teams, and the finals will be played on that Tuesday, April the 25th, at 7 p.m. And then on Wednesday, the 26th, you have the cricket finals. There's usually a cricket competition. So, and that will be taking place at the Alston George Park from 7 p.m. Yeah, and Alston George was one of our top footballers in this constituency, okay, in this parish. And really and truly, he's one of the best defense players that this country has ever known. You know, Brother George, you know Heads?
Yeah, no Heads.
You know Heads, that's the man. That's the man. You know, so the playing field here has been named after him.
Good. That's a good move. It's a good move.
So that's Alston George. And actually, he was a very good cricketer too also.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also a very good cricketer. And then on Thursday, April the 27th, in your yard is a night of fire. There's usually a bonfire, and there's going to be food and fun, village talent clash, fish cooking competition, and so on. That also takes place at Alston George Park from 7 p.m. Then on Friday, April the 28th, you have the football finals at the same venue from 6 p.m. And on Saturday, there's Heritage and Culture Night. So you'll be on Diamond Street here. That's the street where you have the roundabout, Heroes Square. So it's going to be on that street, the same street where you find Shaiba. That is where that event will be taking place. There's going to be food fest. There's going to be steel pan music. And remember, the theme is peace, togetherness, and unity. So then we'll be having a peace, togetherness, and unity concert. Okay. And that is on Diamond Street from 7 p.m. And then the Sunday morning, that is when the mass starts. The Reservoir Jam, Brother John. You ever heard about the Reservoir Jam?
No, never did.
Oh,
I tell you,
you know, as the fella said in Doom Doom Boy, well, half your life gone.
yeah. I think I need a rebut. I gotta come out of the grainer and take a bat, a real grainer and bat again, because no text.
Yeah, you need to do that, man. You need to do that.
No
I'm
text
telling
no
you.
more. Text no more of grader now than me now. So she could
Already,
yes.
yeah.
She been the grader and she called places and what's happening and you know.
Okay.
This morning we had a show this morning with the couple from Grader, Miss Grader and her husband. They was on here this morning. Really wonderful show. A lot. I mean, it was really powerful, really eye-opening, really educational. And we was making fun of Tex. The internet was going and coming. So we was talking to Tex being the Grader and get to know most streets in Grader. Get to know, tell them about Gov now. She know where Gov is and she know where Grenville Fish Market is and you know talking about everything Grader now, you know.
She was showing off.
Yeah, so we had to give her back her green and passport now, you know. So before mine get taken away from me, I gotta come and feel out Grenada, you know. Come to Grenada, go to Guava, go to Victoria. Now I know you're in Victoria, I can come to Victoria now and spend a day with you, you know, go to Guava and hang out with Miss Shirin, you know what I mean? Find the people and then become part of the process again, you know, filling out and just enjoying Grenada again. I think I got to make a visit. I think my friend Suzette Joseph been Grenada more than 365 days in the year. You know, I look at I think I see Suzette, she's in Grenada, and I just love. And when she go to she always have her vibes. You know what I mean? Always have a vibe that follow her. She's, you know, when some people go to Grenada, right? They go and you don't hear nothing about them. When Suzette go to Grenada, I always watch her. She always in a party mood, always upbeat, always having fun. That's when you want to go. That's what you go to Grenada to do, to have fun when you live here. Because here is so stressful every day, you know what I mean? When you come out of here, it's like work when you're living here. It's not relaxation, it's work. So you need to go to Grenada and tough and have fun. You know, don't go down Grenada and get yourself involved in no work. You know what I mean? Just go relax, have fun. And those who love party, go party. For me, I would like to go and if I can just lie on the beach, I just go in a boat out in the water and just chill, go fish, have fish, and then cook fish and right on the water. You know, go in Grenville and when tide is low, go get some sea egg, boil it, brine right on the beach there itself, or you know, something like that. Something that could just take me away from my mind, away from work, you know, and just have fun. I think the Grenada is nice. I need to get back and recharge.
It's like brother Anthony W. the Riggs.
Yeah,
he comes here. I mean, every day you can see a post.
Yes.
You can see some new site, some place that is visiting, some piece of history being shared and stuff like that. I mean, and even Brother Dennis, when Brother Dennis is here, you know that he's home.
That doesn't make you feel homesick, you know what I mean?
When Brother Dennis is here, you know that he's home. You have no doubt about it, you know? Yeah, man.
That make you homesick. Because you like rub this stuff in your face, you know what I mean?
It's just the beauty.
You know,
the beauty of the place, you know. We really have to appreciate what we have. And I think it is when people travel and they have to live, you know, in the kind of environment that you guys live out there. And the experiences that you have, which is so different from how we live here. The culture out there is so different from how we live here. You get to appreciate the things that we take for granted here. You know,
I think Parkin Douglas had a poem or a short story. You got to go and come back, boy. You know, this place is culture's country, boy. You know, say, you know, in Trinidad, when you're waiting on a bus or waiting on a taxi, any taxi man just give you a drop, man. We ever had in a white man country? You know, I see my friend here, Anna Boo, and I don't know if you just follow her, but you should be following her, Pablo. She just gives some amazing stories. You know, she's just good at drama. Good at putting up the dramas, just putting up a skit, just less than five minutes skit, and I think one of them made in Mikey Live last week. You know, she does a lot of stuff every day, from morning, midday, nighttime. She have a piece.
And what's the name you said?
Anna Boo. Just look at local tradition every day.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I probably share with you. She will get and just sign up under her, man. You know. She's she make you feel at home even when you're here. You know what I mean? And then she sent a message to Greta how cold and how the struggles we face here too as Greta living in Canada. And she does so much a wonderful thing. So it gives you a sense of loving your country when you're away from your country. And I think what she does really good is making us feel at home in Canada here. Even though it causes us to feel homesick, because the kind of thing she does, you want to take a plane and go to Grenada.
Right. Okay.
Oh man.
Well, so the invitation is open. Those of you who's watching, who's with us this afternoon, I mean, share the live and let other people know.
Yeah, share the live.
That we have the St. Mark's Day Festival coming up. You know, and it's just around the corner, and the official start of it, you can come and do a beautiful hike. If you haven't been to Mount St. Catherine before, here's your opportunity. On Saturday, the morning of Saturday, April the 22nd, we have a hike that takes you up to Mount St. Catherine, you know, and then in the afternoon time, we have a beach fest right out on the beach on the front line there. That main street is Queen Street, and right at the back of the fish market there's going to be a beach fest. So join us, man. Come and have a good time in Sunset City, you know. Speaking about having a good time in Sunset City, and it takes me to the whole issue of our gifts, our creations, our culture, our produce. And this morning I saw a post on the page of one of our renowned Grenadians. Actually, she's a scientist. And her post said, and I'm quoting here, she said, "Local is code for low standard, cheap, poor package," unquote. Yes, she said, local is code for low standard, cheap, poor package. Brother John, when you see that, what come to mind? What would you think that relates to?
What local?
I'm telling you the statement that was posted.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm quoting. The statement said, local is code, CODE, right? Not your mentor. Local is code for low standard, cheap, poor package. And this was posted by Dr. Jessamine.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Academia.
So
yeah.
now that I've mentioned the name, maybe it might help you to put it in context.
Well, you know, last week on the show, Mexi Messenger make a simple, obvious point that will probably support that argument. When in the music industry in Grenada, when they hear local music, people don't pay attention to it. It's like cheap. You don't want to hear it, right? You don't want to. But put on something foreign, it always get the attention of the people. And so he said, don't introduce him as a local talent. Just his name is enough, right? So people wonder who this musician is and stuff like that. I think when we lose local, it's true. It do come with a watered down side to it. It's local. Let us not bother about it. And that's the slave mentality, you know, to think that what we produce is not a high standard. It's a code for this low productivity, this low quality of work. When in truth and in fact, we produce high quality, high standards, you know, of stuff. Our chocolate, for example, our cocoa is a high quality. Our water has been the best. Our honey has been the best, and they all local made. You know what I mean? So when one use that terminology, especially somebody as her, is it trying to educate us that we must not say it? We must not see local as cheap and inferior, or is she trying to prove a point that what we put is not as top notch? So I can look at the part where Yes, people look down on our local made stuff, and importing as input are better because we may produce the best, most healthiest food, but we're importing the cheap and inferior goods. I think Chuck does make a simple point in one of his songs, "See Water and Sand," right? Chambers don't want Dominican goods because it's cheap and inferior, right? And then, but you want St. Vincent to use his dollar. So we have a Caribbean mentality that anything outside of our region is better than what we have in the region, and which is not really true, right? So for let me show you something that happened. Hadid Garment Factory make jeans in Grenada, right? What percent of that jeans that is sold in Grenada, it goes out and they come back to Grenada as with a USA tag on it, not made in Grenada. You understand? Grenadian workers, Decal Garment Factory make clothes for foreign markets. Yes? And then we import them. But they never mark made in Grenada by Grenadians. You'll never see that. Right? But so we produce really good quality, but we don't get the credit for the quality that we produce. So that statement is a two-edged sword. You know?
Yes. And they're in I think that last statement from you about it being a two-edged sword, right? I think it really brings home the point. Because while what you say there is true, there is another side to it wherein we produce stuff and we do not, the standard and the quality, the packaging and so on, is not ideal, it's not adequate. We just do it any old how. We just do it vice as the saying goes, you know. And I think that was the point that why she said local is a code for low standard. That once something is local, you know, it's like you feel, well, you can just do it any old how. It's cheap and poor package.
Yeah.
You know, and you know her, Ms. Valma Jessamy. Yes. She's one who prides herself in top quality, in top standards, and it is that kind of approach that has won her accolades for her honey product and so on the international market and so on. So we started that conversation because that's one of the things that we found in that people who are part of the tourism industry and who sell their stuff, who ply their trade to visitors and so. Oftentimes, that's one of the observations you get from visitors. It's like everyone who approach them or every stall that they go to, everyone is selling the same thing, packaged in the same way. And you come this year is the same, you come next year is the same thing, and the innovation is not there. I know that over the years, the Board of Tourism back then, which is the Grenada Tourism Authority, the Ministry of Tourism. I know I myself, I have had the opportunity to be at sessions where these things were discussed, the whole issue of packaging and so on. You know, and oftentimes that makes a difference with whether you get the sale or not. And if we are going to get into creating secondary products from our agro-processing, from our agricultural products, and we have to meet the international market standard, our packaging is going to have to be critical. We have to meet a particular standard in order to be able to access those markets. And I often use the reference of our fish exports.
Right.
Now, we go out there, we go in the ocean, as we say, and we come show with tuna and ocean gar and so on. Now, we have a market out there for tuna. And if our tuna doesn't meet a certain standard, well, Johnny can't ship.
Right.
You're looking at the fish. Yes, and for all intents and purposes, there's nothing wrong with it. It is edible. But because of how the time that you may have caught it on the day, and it wasn't iced and stuff like that, they have a process where they push something down inside of the fish and it takes up a portion of it and they do the test. And if it's not, you know, if it doesn't meet that the particular standard, the fish can ship. And we've had occasions where fishermen would have thousands of pounds of fish, but because it doesn't meet the standard, it cannot go, you know. So that is something that is critical. And we on the other hand, we have a culture too, Brother John, that whenever there is efforts or there are efforts to introduce standards into anything, we tend to be somewhat resilient to it, you know. I remember when we were putting the Guelph Fish Friday Festival together. Now, people generally were accustomed to you doing some sort of vending. You know, you may not have a proper tent. You come and you knock up something any old how. It's a tarpaulin any old how, and so on. And you sell and you vend. Right. That is local. And I think that is the point that Ms. Jessamine is making.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, we sought to bring in something where there was some sense of uniformity to it, where all the participants would be under a tent and they would have the bucket with the water where people can wash their hands. And they would be trained up front and have the health badges and you know, and stuff like that. And because of that, there were people who had been in the big small business operators of that nature, had been involved in vending and so on. And you try to bring them into that, and they were not inclined because they used to doing their thing in their own way. And so everyone who had to participate in that had to go through the process of training. You know, we had people from the food and nutrition, we had people from the Red Cross to do certain certain emergency stuff, to do bit of CPR and whatever, you know, how you treat with someone they get a burn in a situation like that, and so on and so forth. And it was only people who did training that were allowed to participate in the event. All right. So much so, Brother John, when Fish Friday started, you know, it wasn't local people coming to Fish Friday. The first set of patrons Fish Friday had were coming from Lansapine and these areas, you know.
See?
Yes, because the event was marketed as the place where you can meet, greet, and eat, and you don't have to shout to be heard. Because, you know, typically when we have an event like that, we have music that's being played at a blast.
Right.
And so on. You have a heavy sound system and so going on. And I remember us having conversations with certain established promoters, and they told us that this cannot work, especially in Guelph. This cannot work, you know, because, you know, you had to have this and you had to have that. And Dr. George Vincent, he was adamant. He knew that the thing could work because he had been involved in establishing similar projects, working with the OAS. He had been involved in doing this thing in St. Lucia. You had Ancillary on one side, and you had Denry on the other side. One is Friday, the other one is Saturday afternoon. You know, and he did it. And I tell you the truth, in order to demonstrate that the thing could work, he took money out of his own pocket and put into this thing to demonstrate that the thing could work. Yeah, when we first started, we didn't have tables and chairs and tents, and so it was George Vincent, right? It was done as a loan. Yes, I didn't even think he gave back all the money because he spent tens of thousands of dollars. We had to be getting tables and chairs and so from Wagiti and that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, eventually, we got some tents and so from USAID. USAID was here because Fish Friday came on stream in 2005, right? Just about just shy of 1 year after we had Hurricane Ivan, you know. So it was these people that were coming. And
Okay.
it wasn't until the operator of the GoGov page at a hostel started taking photos and so on, putting on his page and stuff like that. That's when you find a lot of local people started coming, you know, because people come and you get a picture taken and it's up on Facebook, and the friend or the relative in
New York and Canada, seeing them.
Diaspora and so on. And it became a thing. And I mean, sometimes you go there and I mean, the place was just jammed. By that time, you know, the original crew of people had stopped coming because the place get too crowded for them. We used to be able to come and just sit in comfort and so on, and well, you know, these people, they have deep pockets. So
Right.
they spent, you know, the people coming from the SGU. I mean, that was a main thing for them, you know. And up to now, well, Food Fest has returned. Fest is here in St. Mark's, Sunset City Food Festival. It is a monthly event, unlike Fish Friday, which was a weekly event, right? So by the time you finish, you have to start preparing for the next Friday.
Okay.
It's a monthly event, as is the case with the breakfast in Mount Morris.
That's a big thing too, right?
Yeah, but Fish Friday hasn't returned. There's been some preparations and so going on, and so to bring the event back, because there are people who are calling for it. In fact, I rode on a bus a couple Fridays ago, and there was this shiny looking guy on the bus, and he come up expecting to meet Fish Friday, you know. So that is something that has to be worked on and has to be brought back.
But
so,
something you said earlier on, and I wanted to go back to local, right, and stuff like that. Someone in the chat made a obvious observation is how you promote it, right? I often say that McDonald's doesn't make a good burger, but you have very good promotion. Is marketing your product is important, right? Some people might bypass the taste for the quality of your promotion.
Yeah, the packaging is critical.
I say to people all the time, if we run a campaign in Green all down, 28 days in a row, very few people will go to McDonald's or Kentucky. I'll tell you that. Because promotion is something that sells itself, sell the product. You don't have to have the product in hand. You have to tell people the product where to get it, right? And if it's done well, the promotion is done well, packaged well. Like I see people here, brother, they have in some stores, right, come from Trinidad and Jamaica, the well packaged stuff on the shelf. It's packaged well, right? So the thing about it is how you package it and how you market it. You have to market it well, you have to package it well. So in essence, local is not bad, local is good. Local have to be promoted properly, and it have to be labeled and packaged properly. And that is what will sell. You know, and again, talking about everybody have the same labeling. I could have my unique brand. You know, instead of having Pure Green on it, I could put Charlie's Tambra Mall, you know, and have a nice picture with that goes with it, you know, and get it done, get it sold. But I have to promote it every day. I got to promote it for 28 days straight. You promote it and see what will happen. You change the way people think about your product. So the whole idea is to promote it until people get to it. Yeah. So you have to do that. You have to do the promotion. And so Fish Friday is a big thing here, because in Grenada, people go to Grenada, they see Fish Friday, been to Fish Friday, and they come back and they do it here too, as well. So the promotion of a product or any event is important. Don't never underestimate the power of promotion. If the big companies are doing it, guess what? The small one must follow suit. That's how keep them in power and keep them in business. Promotion. And people think, well, if I don't want to drop my price, I will lose money. Don't worry about 25% profit. Try to sell it and make 20% profit. Leave the 5 out and take the 5% and do marketing. And see what the difference is going to happen with the business. You know? Yeah,
well, I hope that this is going to generate some more conversation about it. Is going to bring some focus to it, and that somewhere along the line, a process will be initiated, you know, where we can do some upgrades on this, you know, because actually I'm looking now. I've returned to where the comment was originally posted, and what I had done is I did post the poster for this afternoon show, and I said that I will touch on this issue this afternoon, and this will just be the very tip of the iceberg, you know. So I'm hoping that coming out of all of this, what Ms. Jessime would have posted, us having that discussion here, probably, you know, that conversation can continue and to bring focus to it, and there's going to be some particular strategy or particular action steps, because it's all well and good that we identify it, you know, we highlight it and so, but then what do we do about it? Do we just throw up our hands in the air and say, you know, this is the way it is? Because yes, there are those, as I said, who would have made efforts, you know, over the years, you know, and but we have this thing about us whereby in order to get to that standard, making that adjustment is a challenge for us, whereby on the other hand, you have those people who come with a particular standard. And as you were alluding to initially, there are those who expect that that something coming from here is not going to be top quality, you know? And so we see that one of our local writers, he's saying that you remember when a Grenadian once told him that she was surprised that the book that he had produced, that it had been written by a Grenadian. She said that she didn't expect the book to be so good. You know, and he's saying how insulted that he felt, you know, and Miss Jessime herself is saying that she too has experienced that when people ask if the products that she is putting out, or honey products, and so if it's actually made in Grenada, and you know, there's that sense of disbelief that such quality products are actually, you know, coming from Grenada. So that is something that we need to address. And I just thought as it came out this morning, I just thought that I'd bring some attention to it. And I hope that coming out of that, there could be some, you know, something more concrete going forward.
Yeah, I think we need, another thing I want to say to business people, right? I know there's social media out there and people post stuff on a Facebook page, but you put in an organized setting like Gem FM, you know, Right Along, you know, Mikey Life, put it out there, because some people might even pay attention to your page. So put this stuff where you could grow. You understand? Just marketing is like a farmer that's going, imagine somebody have a business, right? And a farmer have some season hand and just go and trade on the ground anyway, right? And it just grew up and it just choke and it dead. You know, people hear but they never see it. But if you put your stuff in an organized company that promotes stuff like Gem FM, I'm saying that we need to do, right? But if you promote it right, you know, I mean, word of mouth is spread by promoting the business first in a printed form, you know? So I say to people all the time, have a marketing strategy, yes? Have a PR team that will sell your product for you before people buy it, yes? So when they go in the store, they remember, I heard that on Gem FM, I heard that on Mikey Live, I heard that on Right Along, I heard that on GBN. Spend money on and proper advertisement. Let's put it on Facebook and let's put it out there on Instagram. You know, people don't realize that media is really changing, and you have to go with the change, yes, but you have to know to organize with the change. You just put it out there. Put it in a place where you get the attention of people. Because I could put a promotion out for myself on my page, but how much people will say, well, I've been, you know, I sit on CNN, 24 hours sit on CNN. And that's where you want to have your eyes fixed. So I'm saying to people, promote your print properly, spend money on advertising your product, and always willing to give a discount on your product. Don't say, okay, buy it first, I must sell for sales to make a profit. And if you sell for, you know, make 40% profit or 25% profit, sell it. You know, I did something with an auntie of mine. She was selling sugar and flour, right? And I told her to drop it by 2 cents. Yeah. 2 cents, drop it by 2 cents. It's the amount of sales she got. And not only drop it, but give away something. So when people come, they get that condensed milk for free. They buy 25 pounds for 25 pounds sugar, they get that condensed milk for free. People keep flocking it. You understand? Because and Rudy asked her, so how you think finish so quick? You know? But the thing about it is, if you promote yourself well and you deal with your customers well, you will just not them you want, you want them to tell somebody else. Right? How your customer service is have to be a top notch too. Your customer service have to be on your A game with your customer service business, because that is also going to tell people how to deal with you and how you appreciate this the purchasing power from you. So always have a deal to give somebody. You just advertise with a deal. Give a deal. Promote your stuff with a deal. And make sure you spend money on marketing. Market it and just promotion across the board. Because I tell you, business fail not because they don't make a good product. They fail because they don't promote the product properly.
Yeah, presentation has a lot to do with it, as you in the same way that you made the reference a while ago to the Kentuckys and so on. So,
yeah,
we have to take that on board. So as I said, I hope that this would generate some kind of conversation going forward. When I saw the post from Ms. Jessamy this morning, it really resonated with me.
Right.
So I got involved in the conversation, and as I just look back there, it's a conversation that is ongoing. So I hope we can take it from there, and something practical can come out of it.
Need to do that.
To move on, I want to get into another matter now. Yeah. Because as you say, we're getting into the heart of the matter.
Okay, before I do that, let me just say that to those of you in Toronto, the time is running down for the All Down. The All Down is happening at Ollie's Kitchen at 477 Oakwood Avenue. Don't forget to go and get there in Toronto, wherever in Brampton, Mississauga, Ajax, come down to 477 Oakwood Avenue and get your All Down, your pudding and the soups and whatever you have it today. Come on, and they open every day, but Saturday is All Down day. So come and get your All Down. All right, and those of you in Grenville and around surrounding areas, don't forget Cookies Pastry Delight. Always go there and let them know that you're on Gem FM. Back to you, Raphael.
Oh yeah, and as you're talking about that, those people who coming home too, and those people. Anyway, I get to that in a while.
Okay. Leathercraft.
I get to that in a little while. But yeah. What the shot is here right now. On the 17th, Friday, the 17th of this, before I get into that, let me say a pleasant good afternoon to Mr. Bernard Bourne. Yeah, Mr. Bernard Bourne, he's based out there in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
And Mr. Bernard Bourne, he has been the chairman of the NDC New York chapter. And they had their branch elections last night. And Mr. Bernard Bourne has been returned as the chairman of the New York chapter. So I just want to say congratulations to him, and congratulations to some of the other people who have been elected to the leadership of the New York chapter. The New York chapter has been very instrumental in aiding the work of the NDC in, here at home in Grenada, and we are quite grateful for the contributions that they have made and continue to make, not just in terms of, things that they send, but in terms of advice, in terms of strategies, in terms of, how we build the party structure and so on. They do play a significant role in that regard. So we have the new chair returning, Bernard Bourne. The deputy chair is Sherry-Ann Charlton. The treasurer is Lynn Alexander. The secretary is my sister Denise Roberts. The assistant secretary treasurer is Nell Call. I wonder if Nell Call. I haven't come across that name before. N-E-L-C-O-L Philip. And I hope it's right. I hope it is not a typo, because one might have thought they they want to say Nicole, but whatever it is, it's what's written here is NELCOL, and the public relations officer is none other than Mr. Jerry Hopkins. Mr. Jerry Hopkins. Okay, so that's the executive of the New York chapter out there in
New York,
in Brooklyn, New York. You know.
Right.
So yeah, so just to move on. Now, our Prime Minister had a meeting with the Media Association, the Media Workers Association of Grenada, MWAG. And that meeting took place on Friday the 17th. But had you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I saw.
Brother John?
Yes, I'm here. I heard.
When did you see that?
I saw that on Thursday evening.
Thursday evening. Yeah, well, actually, it's interesting, because an event like that went down since the Friday before, 1 week ago.
Yeah.
And it's only been brought to the public a week afterwards.
And I think
the media workers,
yeah,
those media entities that were represented didn't even bring it to the public. And that is a question that our friend Mr. Depradine, when that was posted, he asked that question, having been somebody from the media himself. He asked that question, how is it that something like that would have happened and we only just hearing about it, and it was put out by government, actually, you know, and the release said Prime Minister and Minister for Information, Honorable Dick Mitchell, and the Press Secretary, Mr. Hira Carter, met with members of the Media Workers Association of Grenada, MWAG, on Friday, March 17, 2023. Inter alia, the discussion centered on the Data Protection Bill, the need for a Freedom of Information Act, and access to government ministers and senior officials. Prime Minister Mitchell welcomed the opportunity to discuss the Data Protection Bill, highlighting the importance of the legislation in protecting citizens' data online and providing avenues for redress. He assured the MWAG that, if necessary, tweaks will be made to ensure that the language in the bill does not affect journalists. The Prime Minister conveyed his full support for the implementation of a Freedom of Information Act and welcomed increased engagement by the media with the Cabinet of Ministers and senior government officials. In closing, Prime Minister Mitchell underscored the importance of the media in educating the public and urged the MWAG to embrace this role by creating educational content that seek to enlighten and demystify the government and its functions. So that release came from the Prime Minister's office, right? And as I said, Brother John, one wonders, why did it take 1 week? Why didn't the people who participated in that meeting find it necessary to make this public? What was the outcome of that meeting and so on, you know? And well, okay, this is the government's perspective, this is the government's report, but shouldn't those media entities have reported on that, such as significant development, given the fact that when you consider the points of discussion, the Data Protection Bill, we know that has been a major talking point recently, and you know, the media itself have written about it. We see that in this weekend's edition of one of the major newspapers, the bill is carried. They have a copy of the bill in there, taking up quite a bit of space, right? The whole issue of the Freedom of Information Act, you know, and the fact that we're discussing a Freedom of Information Act now it tells you that previous administrations, including the 2008 to 2013, I don't know, I don't recall what extent of work would have been done in that regard, but having had a very long-serving prime minister and party in office, I mean, we didn't have a Freedom of Information Act, you know, be taking center stage, you know, and one would wonder, why would an administration not be receptive to that? And as it's reported here, the Prime Minister say, you know, he has his full, you know, he conveyed his full support for the implementation of a Freedom of Information Act and so on. So, and I would dare to say that in such a case, I think it would be a good thing if MWAG can not just make recommendations, but MWAG ought to have entities like that, ought to have legal advisors, you know, so they themselves can propose a bill, can draft a bill for discussion with government. You know, we need to not just sit and wait on. But you know, if we are going to take the politicians, hold the politicians accountable, which is something that we know Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell has been asserting and advocating from the time he became the political leader of the NDC. He's been saying that we need to hold politicians accountable. And I would expect that he expects and he is willing to be held accountable for his stewardship, you know, of the people's business. Yeah, Brother John, you've been wanting to say.
No, I was saying that GIS has a responsibility as the mouthpiece of the government. You no matter what party in power, the government that's in power, you have to promote their work. You have to make everything the government do, you have to put it out there. Right? You don't have to have no fear or favor in that thing. You are the government mouthpiece. You're not the party mouthpiece, the government mouthpiece. So whenever government and the prime minister do something, you have to follow him and put it out there immediately. You got to make the 6 o'clock news, you got to make 8 o'clock news. The prime minister does the entity that represents the government. Everything government does, GIS, Government Information Service. That's what it is, Government Information Service. For the other media houses, you have a responsibility as GIS to promote everything government. Yes? Everything government.
Yeah,
so the government now must ensure that they have a whip inside there, somebody inside there, to make sure that everything government is promoted on the radio station. It's not a party promotion, it's a government promotion. So whoever it should be, the government has to appoint somebody to oversee the media in that house. So make sure that somebody directly in what goes out from a government point of view. Everything government does have to be promoted. All the good works they're doing, whatever they're doing, they have to make sure that those persons working in there must promote government activities every day. You have to be. You can't have the prime minister doing something and nobody's putting the prime minister's work. Are you kidding me? The prime minister goes somewhere, you don't follow him around. Everywhere the prime minister go in a public space, GIS have to be there reporting the night. You have to make the news the night, little as it is. During the PRG time, GIS was there. Everywhere the PRG go, they went out. GIS was reporting on everything. You have to have people in there that have the best interest of the government, promoting the government. You have to have a new director of media a new manager that oversees everything. Make sure that the government information gets out there. Because that's how people know what's going on, what the government is doing. You have to have somebody overseeing the operation that have the government best interest at heart. Well, but okay, Margaret says, well, GIS can release government information, but they cannot make an independent media house. Yeah, exactly, Margaret. I'm saying they can't make an independent media house do it, but they have to do government promotion, and the others may follow suit. If they don't want to, they'll just get left behind. But GIS have to follow government around and promote all government activities. Must be done. Margaret was there. Margaret worked for GIS back in the days during the PRG time. They know. You had Colin McBunnett, you had Peter David, You know what I mean? There was in charge, Peter was in charge at the radio station. Right? So Colin McBuggett, I think I can't remember which part he played, but I think it was Deputy Minister of Information or along. But they had to make sure that all the information in PIG was out there on a regular and consistent basis. Everywhere the Prime Minister went, there was somebody telling to bring the news. It had to happen. I mean, 1 week later, are you kidding me? And it's on social media. You know what I mean? They had to make top of the news. They had to be news. Because when he wasn't getting information, getting interviews, they complain about it, right? So now they should be talking about it. Simple as that. Put somebody inside there that ensure that those things happen. It make the news, 12 o'clock news, 4 o'clock news, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock news. It have to be made 3-4 times a day. Government activities. We got Prime Minister was in Grenville, fisherman fish market, talking to the farmer. The fishers that had to make news in the evening. They can't do it. I watch news here all the time. Everybody Prime Minister go, there's a reporter for CBS, and the CBC, and them promoting it everywhere. So you gotta do it. It have to be done. You can't just let it be. Connect with you. What have the government done lately? Because nobody tell nobody nothing. You understand? They gotta start speaking, and that GIS have to get the act together. Really get the act together. Yeah. But I would encourage the people involved, the government, Minister of Information, they can get it done.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. On the other hand, as I was saying, the media fraternity is referred to as what? The third estate?
Yeah, fifth estate.
Right?
Fifth estate?
The fifth estate?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
But essentially, it means that they are the watchdogs of the public.
Yeah.
You know, and if you would have met with the Prime Minister and you would have addressed issues like Freedom of Information Act and the fact that they had been clamoring actually for access to ministers and to high officials and so, and you would have had a meeting that would have sought to address those issues, and so one would have thought that they would have been eager to come and and to speak to these issues and to let us know about it. What's happening there. So we need government, as you said, the GIS and so, to do their job in that way, and we also need the media to be straight up and so with us and to let us know what's going on to bring the kind of content that is edifying and that helps to lift the people, because as the release said, in closing, Prime Minister underscored the importance of the media in educating the public and urged MWAG to embrace the role of creating educational content that seek to enlighten and demystify the government and its functions.
Exactly.
A lot of us don't have a clue as to how government operates, the separation of powers, the whole issue as to what are the guiding rules and functions and so that go with some of the institutions of government. And because a particular culture of operation has been endemic for the past number of years with the administration that has run the place for the longest while, people have come to take that as the normal way of doing things, And I mean, I'm telling you, Brother John, it has come down to some of our supporters. I'm saying our supporters because, as everybody knows, Pablo is a NDC. Everybody know that by now. And for those of you who would have missed it, Pablo was elected at the recent convention to be the Assistant General Secretary for the West Zone. Right? We have a General Secretary who has overall oversight for the operations and functions of the party nationally. But in order to lighten the load of the work, because that is a tall order if you are going to do it properly and correctly, we have 3 assistant general secretaries, one for the West Zone, one for the East Zone, and one for the South Zone. Now, the East Zone presently entails 4 constituencies, or the 4 constituencies of the big parish. And the South, 6 constituencies, the 5 St. George's and St. David. There are some discussions, if I may say so, presently to sort of bring balance to the scale, because the West has 5, and the East has 4, while St. George has 6. So there's some conversation now about tying in St. David to the East, so that you have 5-5-5, because in the West, it is St. John, St. Mark, St. Patrick, East and West and Carriacou that make up the West Zone. You know, so this is where that. So Pablo is the Assistant General Secretary for the West. So, you know,
right.
And, so you can expect going forward, coming out of convention, there's a new energy and there's a new vibes. So you can expect seeing and hearing more, you know, coming out of the party and so on.
Wow.
Because critically, it is about building the machinery of the party, and we do that from the grassroots up, because without the grassroots support, without the solid polling division groupings and so on and so forth, the party doesn't have the strength that it ought to. It is not a top-down operation, it is from the ground up. And that is
there's a question here for you, Pablo. Before that, Margaret corrected us. He says the 4th estate, the media.
Is the 4th estate. Okay.
4th estate, yeah. You say third, I say 5th, but it's 4th.
Is the 4th, is the one in between?
Yes, in between.
Okay.
She made a simple, obvious point here. Personally, unless something momentous came out of the meeting, I don't see the news value in it. This is not the first time that WAGA, MWAG, has had conversation with government on those topics. So there is really nothing new there. But again, I understand that, Margaret, but isn't it important too that the public be informed? Because public may, like, even though we see the debate and stuff on this whole data collection thing and protection and stuff like that, you had a debate on it, and people still need clarity on it. And I think coming out of that meeting, that should have been a major talking point. I think it's newsworthy, little as it may be. So public can make because right now it's on Facebook. So I think it's meant for public to hear too. But it takes so long to filter down to the grassroots. That, to me, that was a kind of an oversight on the behalf. Another question here for you here, Pablo. Why is there a need for so many assistant general secretaries?
The need for such is that in order to ensure that the various constituency groups, to keep them on track, because as we would appreciate, the general secretary, the work of the general secretary is a big one. Ensuring that all of the organs of the party, beginning with you have the National Executive Council, then you have the annually, well, no, according to our constitution, we're supposed to have a general council twice yearly. Then you have an annual convention, yeah, and then you have 15 constituency branches with all of the different structures, the village groups, the polling division operations, and so on. And it is the responsibility of the general secretary to have oversight for all of these operations.
Okay.
Now, given that presently, this is not a paid position, all right? This is still a volunteer position, because NDC has not had, the kind of resources that others may have, and it's been a volunteer position. There's some conversation in that regard right now to remedy that situation. So in order to in order to assist the General Secretary in enabling the various constituency branch to put the structures in place, because there have been challenges in that regard, ensuring that we meet the constitutional requirements, that we have the structures functioning in an optimum manner, the whole issue of training, because that is critical and significant at different levels, and based on certain work plan, what your work plan agenda is, right? There are some specific things that have to be done in order to make these things happen. So that's why it's been split up, so as the saying goes, more hands make light work, right?
Mm.
So you have 3 assistant general secretaries, so each one being responsible for 5 constituencies, and so it makes it easier to network with those constituencies that belong to a particular zone and so on. So it is against that background that we have the 3 assistants.
Well, we have Mr. Todd Jeopardin, my brother. Yeah, and Margaret making another point here again. It makes sense, a lot of sense here too. Not really. I think you're referring to something I said back there, and not really, because there has been numerous conversations going back on many years. There has a draft media code of conduct and all that, so it's not new. All right, that's what I'm referring to. I think this might be before that.
Yeah, but the code of conduct would be that's an internal thing that has to do with the internal organs of MWAD in and of itself. But if you notice, coming out of the report, it more dealt with the relationship between the media and the administration. It dealt with the whole issue of access to the parliamentary representatives, the members of government and senior government officials, because that is something that the media have been commenting about. There's been complaints from certain quarters about accessibility to cabinet ministers and so on, and even sometimes how the governments how do you call it, the not news releases, the
press release,
the press conferences have been handled and so on and so forth. So one would have thought that coming out of that, the media would have been eager to say, well, we meet with government and these are the commitments that's been given and whatever else. So, going down the road, there can be some follow-up, and we can say, just like we've asked the former Prime Minister, when he would come out and report that he's having an investigation into whatever event, shrimp farm or whatever, and the media don't follow up and ask him, well, where this? Well, sometimes they ask him and he would just give them the merry-go-round.
Right.
In some instances, he gave totally false information and so on. So we need the media to keep our representatives or politicians on the toes.
Yeah. Lincoln is saying here, the journalists, where's Lincoln going up and down here? All right. The journalists who worked independent media and attended the meeting garnered no reportable news from the meeting, right? There was no report from them or from MWAG either. So So why was that so? Wasn't
But and actually I saw when the post was put on Facebook, he made that point there, and I did I don't remember what I said in connection with it, because that jumped at me too, the fact that this was done on the 17th, and now 1 week later is when this is coming out. I mean, I found it rather interesting myself.
Yeah, but I know I'm I believe that the government still need to step up its game in terms of the promotion of what they're doing. keeping the public aware and getting media. The GIS must be more involved in the work of the government and promoting government work. And that's my position. I think that needs to be done. You need to have that kind of a information flowing to the people from the politician and government, whatever they're doing, and keep them informed. Yes, don't let them guess nothing what happened and they haven't done nothing. They haven't heard anything. You could do 1,000 things and like I said, if you don't promote it, you lose it. You know what I mean? It don't matter how good you build a bridge and the bridge built and you don't talk about it. People didn't go off know about it, but people in government doesn't know what they're doing. So it's not that you haven't done anything because they haven't heard about anything that you have done. So it's important to inform people about what is being done. Not just a Facebook presence, but national news every evening. Something the government done or what they're planning to do. Let it be done. Hi, Veronica. Good night. Good evening. Yeah. Hi, Toro. Good evening, Toro and Margaret. See you tonight, Margaret. 8:30. Back here tonight at 8:30.
Yeah, what are you discussing? What are you discussing tonight?
Well, one of the things I want to talk about is one of the same data I was talking about, the information of public information data collection and securities. The regional RRS, the regional security services, that was one of the things I was talking about too, and recent shootings in Gov, that I wanted to touch on as well. The gun violence that's probably starting to make its way into our communities, and what should we do to stop such a crime from coming up again?
Brother John, the guy who did is somebody that I know from infancy. I know him as an infant.
So
he's a little fella used to be running around in my vicinity, and so he and his little brother, and it's somebody that I know.
Okay.
The family, and know the mother, the aunt, these people. No.
So the Prime Minister was addressed it while we're talking here. There is somebody reported get shot in 6 shots in his country, and it's one of the things that even someone spoke to me, they made a statement sometime this week, and about Grenada probably need another revolution. And I tell him, don't ask for it because you can handle it. You know what I mean? You don't want to have a revolution in Grenada, you don't want that.
I've come across people making this statement from time to time. Even some of the young people who did not live through that period, but would have heard about it, and you would hear them making reference. I have to say to them, even if there is such a development now, it is not going to happen the way that it did before. We're in a different dispensation, and things are going to be much more chaotic than it was then. Back then you had a vanguard party that more or less led from in front on all of these political issues, and so this time the kind of, there's going to be vendettas, there's going to be all sorts of things taking place. It's going to be anarchy really. If we were to, if such a thing was going to be developed, it's going to be much harder to control.
Yeah, it's not the same. You'll never be the same.
No, the dynamics are different.
So unless you're prepared to dare, don't even think about getting one and go ask for one. Go ask what you can handle. So I'll let you brother know, you guys don't know what you guys are asking for. What we had in 79 was a cakewalk of a revolution. You know what I'm saying? It was, and when there was no resistance, and people were organized and mobilized for such a thing, the evidence of team working and a vanguard party leading and people expecting them to lead, and they organized, who was going to be what and what before. They had all the plans already. So there was kind of in parliament already in one way, because the alliance was the opposition led by Morris, but all of them was there. So a number of people was in it. So 6 of them was inside already in parliament. So they knew what was going to be. But young people, some of you not even, just talking politics, not involved in any pressure group or any organized structure, but talking about revolution and change. It don't happen like that. So it's not easy. It wouldn't be easy. And ignorance, we see that happen. It would never be a peaceful revolution. Thank you very much. We have seen Abu Bakr try his stunt in Trinidad, and he thought probably Grenada do it, so probably I could do it too. You know what I mean? Not understand that making up a revolution is not just waking up one morning and pick up guns. It's not just about picking up guns and trying to overthrow a government. There are a lot of groundwork that have to be done, a lot of mobilization, a lot of organizing structures within your own party system, you know? So when you get in power, what are you going to do? Who's going to be doing what? Who's going to be general? Who's going to be, you know what I mean? You don't just pick up and just have a revolution and want to change a government.
People hear about that period and they just, you know, they just look at it. They have this romantic kind of thing about it, you know.
Yeah, like to always say, the Green Revolution was an experience. Yeah, it was an experience, and we had a good experience and a good experiment of what should and what can be done. And I think the blueprint is there for the functioning after the revolution. What could be accomplished, and that we should look at that and kind of build on that.
I think that is one of the most salient lessons that we ought to learn from the revolution, especially where we are right now, the state of things in the world. I think that is one of the most salient lessons that we ought to have learned from the revolution, is that the revolution has more or less established a template. Granted that, yes, what was happening then was happening against the background of the Cold War and so on, and we would have been able to secure certain level of assistance and support and so to make certain things happen. I don't think that what our projection ought to be this time around is going to be too difficult in terms of, you know, raising the necessary financing and whatever to put these things in place, because essentially, apart from the building of the airport and so, the economy of the country was based on the people, right? The people and the natural resources that we had, our fish, our agriculture, and so on. That was the basis of our
and two. You had a high level of voluntarism as well.
Yes, there was a high level of voluntarism.
People's participation.
Yes, the thing about it is, this time around, there are opportunities for income generating entities and initiatives that may not have been there around. So that in itself will cover for the element of voluntarism that is not available.
Yeah.
You know? But it is about building the structures. It is about getting people excited and getting people energized, you know, and helping people to have a greater appreciation of their civic duties. Because the conversation, we need to get back to the kinds of conversations that we had then, that caused us to have pride in ourselves, that caused us to have pride in nation, you know, that caused us to have pride as a people. You know, a lot of these we have lost, you know, and it goes back to the conversation we started off with, where we put more value on those stuff that's coming from overseas and not seeing, you know, the potential that our local products and produce really have, and how we can empower ourselves through that medium. And that's the kind of conversation that we need to have, and the kind of initiatives that we need to be getting into. You know,
there's a lot of stuff happening and in the world today. A lot of changes in the political landscape of the world. You know, that I want to talk about tonight too. The economic changes and the alliances that is being forming now outside of the United States, and what is happening in the Middle East and China. So that's another thing I want to touch on tonight as well.
That's a different kind of conversation. I was looking specifically in terms of the economic element that I'm looking at really is the productive end. What is it that we have that can be used to increase our productivity? Because that is where we have lagged.
Yes.
And if we are going to address the issue of unemployment, if we are going to address the issue of generating income and foreign capital resources, money, and so coming from overseas, then these are the things that we need to look at. And we know for a fact that there is a high demand right now for many of the things that we are producing and that we are able to produce. It's just
Right.
that in many instances we're not producing it in quantities that would be able to satisfy the market out there, or we do not have the strategic and systematic, approach to the production element of things, so that we can actually target those markets and bring much needed income to
I think
that's the conversation
you need to have
that we need to have. Yeah.
Yes.
So before we close out for the afternoon, Brother John, there's one thing that I remember. I sent you a photo.
Yeah, I have the photo here.
I wanted to put that photo up.
Okay.
Because that photo is of our young people, our school children. It's a primary school grouping that they were involved in. They were involved in a session, and I'll read it to you.
Okay.
It's something that I took off Facebook, and it sort of jumped at me when I saw it. It said, on Tuesday, March 14, 2023, 60 students from St. George Anglican Primary School built their capacity on mangrove rehabilitation and restoration, where they visited the mangrove nursery at Soubise and the restoration site at Big Bay Telescope in St. Andrew. Brother John, were you aware that such an entity exists?
Nope, I did not know that at all.
The mangrove rehabilitation and restoration.
No, I didn't know that, but I did not know that.
And the mangrove nursery in Soubise.
Nope.
Yeah, and the restoration site at Big Bay Telescope in St. Andrew.
I had no clue. No, I had no clue.
All right, so let's go. The release continues. And, I should say this is a SIEP program and rural enterprise program. Okay. And as I mentioned, that I have to smile to myself, because originally, well, that's the same thing, the same entity more or less that used to be MAREP. Okay. And the office was based in St. Patrick. Yeah. Next to the bus terminal there. And somewhere along the line, I got report that the head office had been moved to Lagoon Road in St. George's. And I mean, I still can't come to terms with what kind of madness that would cause the head office of a rural program to be moved from a rural community to the heart of the city. It's not making any sense. But I understand that with the new management that's coming on stream, there are moves to return or to put a central office back in St. Patrick again. So let me continue. The activity was completed in collaboration with the Innovative Nature-Based Solutions to Enhance Community Resilience in Grenada, ING, project funded by the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund, SIEP, and the 4-H unit of the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives. Ms. Anaika Thomas, the Coral Nursery Manager, facilitated the Coral Nursery visit. SIEP thanks all the collaborators for their continued support to provide climate-smart initiatives to communities and school children island-wide. Okay? And Brother John, when I saw that, here's the thoughts that came to my head. We are building the capacity of our youth on mangrove rehabilitation and restoration with a visit to the mangrove nursery at Soubise and the restoration site at Big Bay Telescope in St. Andrew. We are certain that These students, and I'm quoting here, were very fortunate to get hands-on experience in the process of coral microfragmentation, a process where live corals are cut into fragments for coral restoration, unquote. Yet, we have just ravaged the La Sagesse mangrove and are about to do the same to Livera. Mount Hatman has been vanquished also. Are we for real or mere fakers? Save Livera. Because, Brother John, it makes no sense to me whatsoever why we are having sessions with our young people, sensitizing them about the importance of mangrove, that we have a nursery in Soubise and a restoration site in Big Bay Telescope and so on. So what are we saying? That we will just arbitrarily destroy what's been established for hundreds of years, and then we go through a process of restoration and through nursery. Brother John, I don't know, it's not making sense to me. Can you help me out here? Brother Depravin.
Call Margaret and Depo.
Yes, it is not making sense because we are about to destroy Livera. Where you have all of what we're talking about. Yes. And put golf courses and so on and so forth. We're getting rid of the turtle nesting and all of that. Yes. There is no appetite for a conversation that is going to put something in place to mitigate against such a development.
Yeah, you know,
we are already being told by fisher folks that in the Mount Hatman area and so, lobster, which was known for its lobster and its conch and so, certain years down the road, that is something that is going to be history to the people, those who come in afterwards, because they will only see lobster in picture, because the lobster nested places have been destroyed.
Wow.
So, I mean, Brother John, brother, help me make sense of that.
Well, you know, like I said before, there was an element of national pride when it comes to protecting the best interests of your fertile lands and your mangroves and stuff like that. There's something that just would not be touched. When we see foreign investment as the way out, we will sell out everything without creating from within for ourselves. And I think we have to take a look at Ghana, and now Ghana, small African country, what they do inwardly in order to promote their own service, not foreign investors with hotels and stuff. They do it back with natural resources and using what they have and grow what they have and eat what they have and produce and sell what they have. So I think we have to start thinking that instead of looking for hotels to save as a savior for our economy. Whereas it may employ a lot of people, but it does not help the environment in the big way. All right, so I think we're gonna go outside of that. The whole idea, and I want to say this here, we don't know anti-NDC rhetoric here, right?
This is not a partisan political.
Sure, right. I'm making the point here because when you say some things, even though you support NDC or you support the party, some people try to treat on issue and say leave them people alone. But let me say this: the now Minister of Agriculture, Senator for Agriculture, had demonstrated in both fronts, yes, against La Sagesse and Livera. The Prime Minister now.
I am not sure about the Livera demonstration in particular.
St. Patrick's and St. Patrick's.
Yes,
we
had a march from the Tongue of Sortes
to Livera only.
On
Rodney, yeah.
That was in relation to the Breakwater project.
Right. Yes.
Because I participated and spoke at both events.
Right. So now, okay, however, there are a lot of people in the NDC was against the project in Livera. All right. The project had been, the Prime Minister now, who was then, was not a political entity, if you put it, for lack of a better word, a political activist then. He was a lawyer and probably may have been involved in some of the deals signed in and with the what do you call it again? The Citizenship and Investment Program, you know.
With the developers.
Yes. You know, he may or may not, I'm not going to say he did, but he been around those things. And now he's the Prime Minister, right? And those deals are still continuing. Would he, I mean, people say, well, no, he's the Prime Minister. Why he could stop it now? He could say no. But there's a lot of downside to that, a lot of pressure in that. For him to be saying, no, I can't do it, but he was not there in the demonstration against it when it first started. He was not participating in those demonstrations against it. So now he's the Prime Minister, and the party who was once in the forefront that he inherited, some of the people in the party and government was against it at the same time. So how do you reconcile that? How do you move forward with that now that you're in power and now you're the Prime Minister?
Brother John, I don't think it was ever about being against the project. I think it has been more about ensuring that whatever project is done is done in harmony with the natural habitat.
Yeah.
Yes. I think more essentially that's what the issue has been about. And that you don't go through a process where you just ravage everything and replace it with artificial development.
Got you.
That has been the essence, because when the demonstration took place in Las Vegas, there were conversations between the then acting political leader and the developers.
Yes.
And there was certain commitments given. The conversation went along particular lines and so on and so forth. Yeah. So essentially, and I mean, I do recall the then acting leader making the comment that yes, we do welcome development and so on, but whatever it is that's being done, the price, what price are we to pay for such development?
Yeah.
And it should come at a particular price. It should come at a price that doesn't ostracize our local fisher folk and so who have had particular livelihoods. What are you saying? That these people now are going to lose it and they will go and work in the hotel? So what's the point? What's the point? The people who were catching the lobsters. So where are lobsters going to come from now for these hotels and so? We'll be importing lobsters. Yeah. So where's the conch going to come from when we've done things that just damage the habitat and so on, the spawning grounds and so on, And there we have it. We're exposing our children. Yes, we're exposing our children. Yeah. To build a capacity on mangrove rehabilitation and restoration. But we are wantonly destroying the mangrove and so on. So that is not making sense.
Yeah, so let me ask a question then. And I say it's not, like we say here, and you and I know, and many people know that we have always been open, frank on these shows that we have on Gem FM, non-political. We don't make it a political event.
Brother John, why you even feel the need to mention that?
Yeah, because some people I've been watching. Some people
whoever feel whatever way that they want to feel, let them come with their arguments.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that now we have that situation, right? How do we reconcile the difference now of this mangrove that would be destroyed? The Livera project, for example. How do we get consultation to ensure that this thing doesn't affect the obvious situation with the turtles and stuff in Livera?
Well, the government, John, the reason why we go to the polls is to elect people to manage the affairs of state, to manage the people's business. Okay, so government has a responsibility to secure the interest of the people, right?
Yeah.
That is government responsibility. So we have a situation like that. It is government responsibility to sit down with the developer, the other stakeholders and so, and to work out how do we mitigate whatever destroy already, don't destroy. Okay? How do we mitigate? And we have professional people who know about these things and we bring them on board. How do we mitigate to ensure that the destruction isn't
minimal?
Just, and we are able to continue some of our established traditions and so on and so forth. Right. That our fisher folk will be able to provide the lobster and whatever and so on, and the conch and these kind of things. That we will still be able to do bird watching and so on. That we'll still be able to do turtle watching and all these kind of things and so. Because all of that make a part and parcel of our tourism product. So what is our tourism product going to be? A golf courses and that is what that's going to be the sum total of the tourism product. It's not making sense.
I know. I got you.
It's not making sense, Brother John. It is not making sense.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense. You know, and I think what's his name here? Lincoln made a point, Jay-Z, but we have to be honest. There was, where is it? It's just slipping away from me here. We have to be honest. There was a decision of put a dimension of politics. An opposition party would have been foolish not to use. Where is it? I keep skipping. Not to use it as a political wedge issue. That was the same Rivera and the Lasalle stuff. Use of a wedge for political mileage. Yes. But now the situation is happening, and that was not that NDC problem, or probably not that thing. But the problem is, I can say, Pablo, right? Our natural habitat for all those stuff on them, the tourism, the fisher folks, how we have to look at how that affect their living, their livelihood, and people around, you know, and even the very thing we try to protect. How are we putting structure in place to ensure that it does not disintegrate or just fade away in the distance, right? What structure do we have in place? What consultation is being taken place to ensure that those things don't happen? And that is where I want to see things going. The consultation to change and to protect, that to serve and to protect those people that were directly affected by the decision that is made. That's my thing.
Brother John, to go to Mr. Depredin's point about you in opposition and there's an opportunity to use whatever as a wedge. The wedge, the issue is not to say that the project shouldn't happen. That is not the issue. The issue is to say that whatever project is taking place should not arbitrarily disseminate what we have naturally that can be an enhancement and can be a major component of that tourism product.
You know, I was watching some pictures the other day.
When the visitor comes, because Brother John, the majority of these people, these stayover visitors, are during the winter time. During winter time is when you have many of those migrating birds coming and nesting in these areas. I know because I visited Lasalle when you had the pond and you had the vegetation and everything. I saw species of waterfowl and so that I had never seen before in my life. Yes?
Right.
Okay. When you go there, when the sun is rising in the morning, to hear the chorus of different voices of the different bird species and so on, you telling me that is not something that can be critical to and a major selling point for our as part of our tourism product, and that all you will have is people come and sit down in the same kind of structures that they live in the developed space, and that they can go to Dubai and these places and experience, and that is what you are going to be offering them over again. You telling me that we could compete with these places in terms of, I mean, Brother John, it's not making sense.
Yeah, I agree. Not making sense.
No.
It has to be, there has to be a solution to it.
And this thing that, okay, because you're in opposition, you just oppose just for the sake of opposing, and then I mean, this is foolishness. We can't develop that way.
I made that same obvious point that you can't oppose just because you want to oppose. You oppose with structure, right? And the whole idea of that whole thing have to be done in a way that people and the environment will be protected. Okay, you can't just go ahead because you bring money. You have employed some other people, but the other end of it is being destroyed. Like you correctly said, the bird migrates. All the different species migrate. I mean, I see birds, geese take off from Canada. Just the last couple of days, they fly out to go down south.
Yeah.
I can imagine those south go south also. To enjoy the summertime. They go to hibernation in those places and they fly back. Not when the winter is over. So yeah, it's
Brother John. And as we were discussing, I mean, we weren't able to get him to come on camera and so last week. But as we were discussing with Dr. Ferguson last week,
yes,
and you would find otherwise. These things are healing. They're therapy for our being. These are the things that enhance our spiritual awareness, our connection to our creation. You can't put a monetary value to that. Everything in human existence cannot be measured in terms of dollars and cents.
I totally agree.
Part of what we're facing, in many of the challenges and so is because we measure everything in terms of dollars and cents, and we feel that these things are supposed to take care of all of our situations. But it cannot not happen.
No,
because man is a spiritual being having a physical experience.
Yeah. No, you're right. And but again, you have to take some serious conversation. You need to have that open and frank conversation. See consultation with people, listening to people who know what they're talking about, who understand the environment well. And be able to have this open and frank conversation with and being educated on the project, educated on the environment, to talk about it, to convince and to educate people. And because at the end of the day, right, a lot of people do not know and probably don't care, and those who care probably just limited amount of people. Right, so the education process have to be enacted. Somebody had to take the mantle up and start educating people and those things, because at the end of the day, man, we're robbing our future generation.
Then we wonder how our young people can be so insensitive towards human life, that taking a life come like nothing to them. You know what I mean? Because we're creating that disconnect from our creation, from what makes us who we are, from our humanity. We're losing our humanity because we're measuring everything in terms of dollars and cents. Dollars and cents cannot be the sum total of the measure of humanity.
No, it can't.
And that is the reason why I'm not even contemplating this thing that you're raising about, I find this excusitis. I don't belong to this excusitis domain, where I have to first apologize. And so, don't mind, I support the party, but I'm saying, I don't see that I have to be able to make excuses for these things. No.
Right. No, it is what it is. I mean, come on, Pablo. People, and you rightly said, they will have to, if they have a concern, they have a right to voice it as well. And you have one, you put it out there. If they have a opposition, let us speak their truth. Everybody have the truth to speak. And, through consultation and through talk like this, people could be able to understand what's going on. Because some people may follow in certain things blindly because they support a certain party. And because that party make a decision, is right. Right? But they don't understand the consequences of it. I think we need to educate people on what's going on. I think what you're doing and other persons are doing is holding a firm position and what you believe in and what should be done. It doesn't resonate. Yeah.
Brother John.
Mm.
I lived through the revolution.
Mm.
As I've told you before, I appreciate the revolution for its development initiatives.
Mm.
But I had a serious problem with all you
Mm.
and the totalitarian approach to government.
Right.
Wherein me as a citizen didn't have the right to say that the government is wrong.
Right.
And I think that as a citizen, I'm supposed to have that right. That right is mine. The fact that I'm born here and I'm a human being, and first and foremost, and I'm born here, and so on, I have an entitlement to say that the government is wrong.
Yeah,
and any system, regardless of what good programs and uplifting approaches that they take to development and so, any system of that nature that tends to say, well, as a consequence of the good things that I am doing in terms of a development agenda, you have forfeited your right to say that I am wrong. Well, Brother John, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a problem. Because I am not willing to forfeit my right to say that the government is wrong. Right? And I was not afraid to say so when the revolution, which was an armed entity, not like we have now today, existed. I see brethren and so am I who get picked up and thing and so, and been put in Hopeville and in the prison and all kind of thing and so. But that didn't stop me from challenging Harry Duncan and Utter Houston and them when they come and take over we basketball operation and so on and say is NYO Youth Project and all this kind of thing. I challenge them.
Right.
So what you do? Put me in jail? And we just been living under a situation with the previous administration where people are afraid to show their association with the opposition because of the victimization and so on and so forth. And now you're telling me that one has to be afraid still because this is what we fought against.
You don't be afraid.
One had to be afraid still because there is a petition going around in relation to that Livera thing. And because of that experience and whatever, there's people who are afraid
to speak up and to sign it.
Are afraid to sign the petition and to put their name on it and this kind of thing. And then
see that should.
What are we doing? Huh?
In this dispensation, that shouldn't be though.
You understand? In
this dispensation, that shouldn't be.
Yeah?
Because you fought against the same thing that now you want to have it, and you're free to speak out. Is it a self-conscious thing, or is it their own fear for themselves? Because I don't think the administration today is that vindictive. Because that's what the same youth people was making noise about. That they want to change, they want to be able to speak out. Not so. So why are they being like timid and not want to speak up? Sign it thing. If you believe in it so much in your core, sign it. And that's how you petition thing to make change happen. Not only election time, but now is a good time too to advocate for it and probably get the attention of your representative in your constituency. And that's how you do it. You have opportunity to do it now. Speak up and let them know how you feel about it. I don't see no wrong in that.
Brother John, I tell you something. In my books, perfection does not exist in the human domain. And that's one of the reasons why you find that in doing a test, you don't have to get absolute amount of marks in order to pass. You don't have to get 100% to pass. Yes? So, you're doing your test, you might get, there might be an established passing grade. Right? Because you want a certain standard. You don't say 50% is a pass. You might say 65, you might even say 70 is a pass because you want to know that whoever it is that passes, they know what they're about.
Right.
Not just have a pass to say, okay, once you get 50%, you know. So you have to come. You had to come and you had to come good. Yeah.
Talking about that passing grade, Pablo, I just want to interject something here. I was reading some university, I can't remember which one right now. They don't do no testing. They don't do no test, like writing test to pass an exam now, right? It's all you're studying, whatever you're studying is hands-on. You're out in the field doing the job, on the job, right there.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Practical application, you know, and then you graduate after the whole thing finished.
Yeah, because some of the reports I've been getting is that, well, I know over the years, NewLo, the New Life organization in Palm East, and there's an entity in St. Andrew also. They have put out some quality people over the years. Yes. There are people who's involved in the field of construction, and so whether electrician or in the field of refrigeration, carpentry, masonry, roofing, whatever, and they come well qualified and with a good quality. But one of the things that you're finding now, Brother John, is that those people, they are going through the process. They get the certificate. But when they come, and although they may have gone on little job training and so, when they come into the work environment and to get the job done, is pure blunder. A man go come and fix a pipe and things so for you today, and in 2 days he start leaking again, you know, because he didn't put the thread seal, or he didn't put it properly, or this or that or the other. And these are some of the kind of reports. Yeah, these are some of the kind of reports that we get. Yes, you know. So that whole thing about the practical element of it, and so, you know, and you have to prove that you in that regard is critical. And this is where the our CVQ and so qualifications really come into it, you know. You know, but I don't know how we can give up. We could say that we giving up one and replacing it with another of the same, whereby the fear of saying that the government is wrong. If the government wrong, the government wrong.
Yeah.
If the government make a decision that they have to revisit, well, they just have to revisit it, you know. And just to say, as I touch on that, the issue relating to that bill, I haven't perused the bill. I do have a copy of it, but I haven't had time to really go through it and so on. But essentially, yes, I know Dr. Mitchell was very disingenuous, giving the impression in Parliament, you know, that it was something that he didn't know about. It's like something that NDC just come up with and whatever. And I mean, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell deal with the case.
Yes.
On the other hand, Brother John, any legislation that comes from whoever that really puts the power in the hand of an individual, whereby that power can be used in an arbitrary manner, because man ego and all kind of thing does come into play when man have power in the hand. We see it happen already, you know. And when that where that can be used, to oppress me or to suppress my freedom of speech and that kind of thing, I have a concern with it, you know. So we see that there's people in different quarters who are raising issues, you know. As I say, there's some articles in this week's newspaper, and so I just watched the headings, and so I haven't had a chance to peruse them. But if that is the case, you know, and we need to revisit it, and the Prime Minister with MWAG, he said to them that, you know, if there's certain things that need to be amended, whatever tweet, whatever term he used, so be it. You know, it's not supposed to be a case whereby the government just says so and it's just so, you know, just because the government says so.
That's why you have consultation, you know, that's what the Parliament is about, you know.
Not supposed to be that at all. And I would never subscribe to that.
A consultation
Yes,
must take place.
I'm a member of the party. I hold an elected executive position on the party, but it don't mean that I just have to swallow hook, line, and sinker anything that is put on.
We see that other people who have been
No,
digit.
I is not that kind of human organism. No.
Mm.
No.
Yeah, Pablo.
I'm a different kind of species.
Right.
Yeah. So, Brother John.
Yes,
well,
sir.
At this point in time, I think this is a good juncture to put some closure for the afternoon.
For the afternoon, yeah.
You have to be back. You are going to be back with your
I'll be back
talking
tonight.
point later.
Yes, tonight. Yeah.
I just felt I needed to get to the heart of the matter.
Heart of the matter. Yes.
The heart of the matter. That was the theme for this evening. On the MTTG show, the message to the grassroots. I trust that this conversation that we have had here, those of you who's been privy to it, and I mean, share it with others. Let people become aware of what was discussed here, what we're discussing. Encourage others to join us on a Saturday afternoon from 3 p.m. on the GEM FM platform with the message to the grassroots program, the MTTG show, as I refer to it. With your host here, yours truly,
Paul.
Pablo. So I stay.
So you stay?
Yes, so I stay, Brother John.
So you did.
So many. You know what I mean? So many. And I feel, and we have to understand that we have an entitlement. We have, as citizens of the country, we have an entitlement. Yes, we have to be disciplined. We cannot just do things arbitrarily. There are rules, there's regulations, there's mores, there's certain things we have to function, according to particular standards and so on. Yes, I understand that. But we have an entitlement to certain things that not supposed to be undermined.
Undermined, yes.
Yes. And it is only up to us to protect these things. Because when we don't protect these things, when we don't stand for it, we end up with things like what we just removed from office.
Yeah.
And
boy.
We ought not to just make ourselves cheerleaders. Because that's what, when you find people just develop into cheerleaders, whereby any and everything that is done, you just, hey, yeah, well done, without, no, we can't function so. That is not good for the country. It's not good for the well-being of the country. It's not good for your own well-being.
Yeah.
Yes, because you become just another cult member when you function.
Yes, cultism, cult-like cultures, right?
Just another cult member. I don't want to be no member, no cult.
Make a shift.
Yeah. So
All
thank
right.
you very much to Brother Depradine and Sister Margaret Francis and those others who joined us, who contributed to the conversation and so. And remember that you can call. You can also call, and I don't know if people don't want their voices to be heard all day. I don't know,
but
you can think call.
Yeah, they could call.
And we can speak. We can have a conversation because we need to be speaking with each other. We need to be exchanging our ideas.
Yes.
And find consensus. In closing, let me finally say, people behave as though to have a disagreement means that you're hating. I used to see it. It was very popular when one take the former prime minister or his ministers or his government to task on any issue. Oh, all you're hating, and all you hate is, I don't have to hate you to say that you're wrong about something. You don't have to hate me to say that I do something stupid. If I do something dumb, I do something dumb. I ain't claiming perfection. So if I do something dumb, I've done something dumb, and you call me out about it. Say what? It's not the end of the world. I have an opportunity to rectify, to know the amount of dumb things I've done. Look, I'm still here.
Yes.
And you see, I always say variety is the spice of life.
Mm.
Could you imagine, Brother John, if all you ate every day, morning, noon, and night, was just fig and blubber alone? Eventually, you will become malnutrited, you'll develop different conditions, and so you need a variety of foods with a variety of nutritional values. Yes? That have particular vitamins, because you get different vitamins from different foods. You get different nutrition from different types of food, different types of fruit, juices, and so on. And the body needs that whole melange. Yeah, the body needs that whole melange of different nutrition for it to function properly. So they tell me I'm supposed to have a diet of just one thing right through, and that is supposed to be the best thing for me? That don't make sense. It is when you have a diet with a wide variety of foods, that is when you have the opportunity to have the best nutrition, and you have the best opportunity to fight against whatever sicknesses and diseases and so that we usually come across in our human existence.
Right,
you can't tell me that all I'm supposed to eat is just fig and blubber. No.
You want to mix your diet up, man.
Yes, you have to mix it. You have to have the greens, and you have to have this and that and the other. And it's when it is that mixture, that combination. So then how can you expect that in our relationship, just one set of ideas, one person's ideas is just supposed to make everything right? No. Life was not destined to be that way. Yes, and we have to come to terms with that reality. And anybody who trying to go against something like that, they're not genuine.
Yep. Yeah, break it up. Yeah, man. Yes. Well, that's so. Yeah. Well,
yes, Brother John.
So, time is fast flowing down.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Time gone by a lot of hours.
Yes.
But it was an interesting conversation, and that's one of the things we pride ourselves on, right? When we're having conversation, we don't limit ourselves to thing, but irrespective of the time that we're living in.
Yeah, granted that we didn't start promptly.
We didn't start promptly. We had like a Murphy time.
That's the like a Murphy time. So that's the we are fortunate that we still at a juncture. We still in a space where Brother John and Gem FM has that level of flexibility. Going down the road when he reached a certain level of professionalism, that kind of flexibility may not exist anymore.
My manager is warning me already. She's coming out of college and she's saying that you have to make a lot of adjustments.
Oh yeah, definitely so.
You see, doing some stuff that need adjustment.
You have to move. You have to function at a different level. Definitely so.
We're doing some stuff that have to be corrected.
You have to be serious thing. Yeah, you have to understand that.
Genesis she's coming in with from the college and with all the workings and the training that she look at that and she said, you're doing well, but you have to make some adjustments.
Oh yeah, definitely so. She's right. She's right. She's absolutely right.
She gave me some motherly advice,
Yep. Yeah, man.
Sometimes I look at this child, right? And I don't really tell her that, but sometimes my late wife, she have a whole big element of her mother in her that that speaks to me. I just shake my hands and I say, that's what this girl mother was,
Yeah, true. Yeah, man. The spirit is speaking through her.
But that brought me to where I am, and I'm living the life that the dream she had, and we just incorporate everybody just living it, So it is what it is, Her mother, Belle, was a dreamer, a visionary, you know,
Mhm.
and things that she wanted to see happen. And now the daughter is just doing the same, you know, speaking.
Dream now.
Yeah.
All right, Brother John. So
Yeah,
once
man.
again,
So
thank you very much, and thank you
one
to
love.
Margaret and Deputy.
Yeah, Margaret and Claudette, Neville, Matthew, Claudette, yeah, and Yulin Alexander.
Matira, you say?
Yeah, I think Matthew, I see that. Yeah, Matthew.
Ali Matira?
Hold on. No.
Okay.
Matthew, on the page. Yeah, and they have Lincoln Deputy as well.
Okay.
Neville Joseph. All right, guys, this is the end. We come to the end.
All right. Yes, all the best. Cheers.
So,
nice.
Yeah, man, I gotta go get
have
some
a blessed week, everybody. Yeah.
Yes, go get it all done, you know?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, man. Later.
Yes. All right, big job. Yeah, man.
In this life that we live in, oh yeah. Says you got to have that someone. If I gave you this water, would you drink it from my hands? If I told you my secrets, would you tell them I'm your man? Now that you know my secrets, use against me if you can. It's only you that I'm asking. Would you stand beside this man? As if you decide to tell me yes. Yes, I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. And if you decide to tell me yes. Yes, I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. If I gave you protection, would you sleep inside my dome? It's only me and you, baby. We would never be alone. 'Cause anything you require, I'll assist it on my own. 'Cause I'm a man of my words, baby. Turn our house into a home. If you decide to tell me yes. Yes, I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. And if you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know. Now you know I got the rest. Lord, I ask in my prayer for a woman so unique. Come and give me your love, girl. I never felt it so sweet. I'm never leaving, I'm staying. I just thought I'd let you know. So come and give me your love, girl, 'cause I'll never let you go. If you decide to tell me yes.
Yes, as man studs out of Hermitage. Living in Toronto, this one called Tell Me Yes.
And if you decide to tell me yes, yes I know that you know.
Okay, join us back tonight at 8:30 p.m. for more interesting conversation right here on Gem FM. Don't forget to make a donation. Go to our website, www.gemfm.ca, and make us a donation. $5. Be a monthly partner by just donating $5 every month. That much, $5 a month. Get 1 million people to do $1 every month. That would do the trick for us to build the environment, build the capacity, build the station we really want to build. Help us by doing $1 every month. That's the man Mexi the Messenger out of Grenville. Yes. St. Andrews, Grenada. Big up your host of Rainbow City people. The Messenger is in the house. Big up your host of Tracia, Grant Lewis, fashion designer, business and entrepreneur. Mexi.
You live in a life of selfishness with no love for humanity. You no care for no one else. Do what you want to do when you want to do.